Introducing Jane Spring AM, disability advocate and leader focused on inclusive communities and systemic change.
Hello, my name is Jane Spring. I've been paraplegic since 1990. I currently chair Disability Council New South Wales and Australia's Disability Strategy Advisory Council. I'm also a board member of Royal Rehab, where I did my own rehabilitation. So I'm quite close to the disability community. When I think about what an accessible and inclusive community looks like, it's actually very simple. It's a community where I can do the things that I want without consistently thinking about barriers. It means being able to get to the beach and into the surf with my friends. It means getting out into the bush. It means traveling around Australia or even the world without constantly worrying about whether I'll find an accessible bathroom. In short, it's about freedom and spontaneity and not having to plan every movement around accessibility. But the reality is that many barriers still exist every day. Our streets, landscapes and buildings are often poorly thought through, poorly built or poorly maintained. When I'm moving around the community, I'm constantly looking down, checking curb ramps, uneven footpaths and obstacles for my wheelchair. And when I arrive somewhere, I'm still wondering, will the door be easy to open? Will there be an accessible bathroom? And if there is one, will it be clean and usable? These might sound like small things, but they determine whether people with disability can participate fully in everyday life. When it comes to research, one of the most important things is that researchers ask the questions people with disability actually want answered. A lot of research is still driven by medical and clinical perspectives. Now that work is important, but it's not the whole story. For me, the research I care about is the path from rehabilitation to a satisfying life. For example, for people with spinal cord injuries, how do we maintain strength and mobility across decades? How do we protect our shoulders, which are essential for our independence? And how do we maintain bone density and long-term health? These are the practical questions that really matter to people living with disability like mine. But I'm also very interested in research about culture and attitudes. Physical access matters enormously, but attitudes can be just as significant a barrier. So what actually changes community attitudes about disability? What storytelling helps people understand our lives in a human and respectful way? And how do we avoid backlash, particularly when there are misconceptions about disability support, like that coming from the NDIS? Employment is another example. Many organisations say they want to employ people with disability, but they don't know how. Sometimes the real issue is deeply held assumptions about capability. And I think we also need more research about leadership and governance. What are the best ways to get people with disability onto boards and into leadership roles? And once they're there, how do we ensure that their voices are effective in shaping strategy and influencing the implementation of policies and programs? Because the real inclusion often happens when organisations, whether government or business, have the leaders with the lived experience of disability helping to guide decision making. And finally, I'm really interested in research about co-design. As a disability community, we talk about co-design a lot, but what does it really mean in practice? How can governments and businesses confidently partner with people with disability to design policies, programs and products, and then measure whether the changes that are made are actually working? And how do we ensure that there are real feedback loops so people with disability continue to inform and improve those decisions over time? Because if we get these things right, accessibility, attitudes and genuine partnership, we can build the communities where people with disability can live full, ordinary and connected lives. And that's what inclusion should really mean. Thank you.